Hi, this is Hani Gamal, the creator of Classical Guitar Essentials courses. In the previous video, we discussed the curriculum of part 1 and how it took you from knowing absolutely nothing to playing on the first 4 strings and playing 2 voices on the guitar, simplified, how to sit with the guitar and how to tune the guitar and so on. In this video, I'm going to go to take an overview of the second part of the Classical Guitar Essential courses. And we start right away with the 5th string notes. Now you played or you learned the 5th string open in the previous one. Now we're going to play the notes of the 5th strings. And we start our first scale, the first major scale, which is the C major scale, the Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Si, Do. Very important to get you how to change properly or how to jump between the strings and to get the major sound in your ear. And we talk about a little bit of theory of the scale, of the tone and the semitones. Nothing fancy, nothing too much, just the sequence of the tones and the semitones. After that, we play La Mantovana, Ritmico, and Hungarian Dance number 4, which are based on the major scale that you learned, just to get the scale locked in your fingers. After that, I introduce you to the accidentals, which is the sharp sign. And what does it do? It raises the note by a semitone. So instead of F, it's F sharp. And I explained this is the black keys on the piano. So far, we've been playing the white keys only. And I explained the flat, but however, we're only focusing on the sharps on this one. See, like, again, my philosophy is to keep things simple. I'm not going to give you the sharps and the flats in the same course. One is enough. After that, we get to something called the chromatic scale, another kind of a scale, and the G major scale, which has the F sharp to apply the theory that you learned. Learning the G major scale will allow you to play the Minuet by Bach. And then, after that, we get to something called the A harmonic minor scale. Again, yet another kind of scale. So we took the major scale and we took the chromatic scale. And now we're going to play the A harmonic minor scale, which sound like this. Very different sounds. And then we take it into something called 2 octaves, which was the first octave, and I explain what is the octave. The second octave is you start where you finish the first one. So sound like this. So that was the A minor in the second octave. Logically, we're going to take something called a study in A minor. Now we studied the A minor scale and we learned the notes on it. It's time to apply this and take something called a study in A minor. After that, we go to the last string, which is the 6th string. Again, you learned the 6th string open note in the previous one. Now we get to the notes of the 6th string. Now you know all the notes of the bass, or the bass notes on the 6th and the 5th string and the 4th string. And we practice these notes on the 6th string by itself, then notes on the 6th and the 5th and the 4th string. And we apply that in a piece called Fandango or Fandango. It's a Spanish tradition, very Spanish. and so on. After that, we finally get to the chords. So the chords, I introduced the 5 basic chords, which is the C major, the E major, the A minor, and the E minor, and finally the G7. Again, because these chords will develop your hands further, it was not the time to take them in the previous one because you're just touching the guitar for the first time. But now, after you played many scales and many pieces, now it's time to take the chords. And I show you how to practice and how to switch between them, of course. Then we get to something I personally think it's the core of the classical guitar, which is playing 2 notes together. So far we've been playing like a bass followed by a triple notes or a triple string. Now we're going to play 2 strings at the same time. So this will add harmony to your playing. And we dive intensively in this technique, playing many exercises, playing and then we go to something 2 notes using the thumb or the P and the middle finger. So now we're getting to the nitty-gritty of the right hand and the classical guitar techniques. This is a very, very important part of developing as a classical guitarist, and we don't stop that. We go also with 2-note chord variation, and we make the melody change. And then we reverse that, we make the melody static, and we change the bass. Well, not in this exercise particularly, but in a different exercises. However, I just want you to understand that this is something we don't overlook in my courses, developing the right hand and each 2 fingers by themselves. Then we play, after you get through all these drills, we play 2 pieces. One's called Country Dance by Fernando Carulli, an Italian composer, and the other one called Andantino by Matteo Carcassi, also an Italian composer. These studies are well known in the world of classical guitar. So the only way to be able to do this easily is by playing the drills that we covered in the course. Then we go to a full-page study by Mauro Giuliani, another Italian composer for the classic guitar, which is my favorite composer, by the way, because it has in most or all of his composition, he have a strong melody. Or something like that. After that, we get to something or a concept called the arpeggios, which is the broken chord. And instead of playing the chords or the 3 strings together, we break them down. And we take another rhythm, We haven't or studied a new rhythm during or throughout the second part, so we combine the arpeggio and the triplets because they sound good together. And we take the kinds of arpeggios, kind of like the downward arpeggio and the upward arpeggio. Then we finish the course with a big piece, which is Malagueña, which is a traditional Spanish piece. And that is the end of the course. And the very last lecture is just a summary of all the notes that you know so far, which is about 17 notes. And that's only in the second part. That's like covering all the notes on the first position. Or something like that. Anyway, so that's the end of the second part of Classical Guitar Essentials. So you can see how did we build upon the first part and how everything fall in the right place. The first part just gave the foundation, and then we start building the second part, and we keep doing this until the end of the series. Thank you for sticking until the end. If you haven't joined my courses yet, please do by clicking on the link, and I will see you in the next video when we discuss the third part of Classical Guitar Essentials. Thank you and goodbye.